Hi students! In this lesson, we're going to discuss what responsive web is, how to set up your file to make a mobile version of your homepage, and then how to translate your homepage to a mobile design. So what is responsive web design? It's pretty simple to explain. It is an approach to web design that adapts the layout to the device you're viewing it on. It does this by using fluid and proportional grids. Responsive has become really important as the mass public has moved to smart devices. Currently, half the internet's traffic is viewed on a smartphone. Let's jump over to our browser window. It's really easy to find responsive examples out on the web. Let's use ringling.edu as our example today. It's pretty simple to see if something is responsive or not. If you start to bring the browser in, you can see that this design is slowly scaling down. And then once we hit a mobile-based version, it wraps into a one-column design. So again, you can just simply test any website that you use on a daily basis to see if it's responsive based. So let's start by opening our latest version of our file. You should have a homepage design that is near completion and then 3 features that you're coming close to finishing. Just going to go over how to set up the artboard for your mobile version. Right now you can see that I have the mobile version right beside the homepage, and I highly recommend to set up your artboard right beside it so it's easy to transfer the images, copy, and hero image. So let's start by hitting Document Setup, Edit Artboards, and I'm just going to start to draw in my artboard for my mobile. Now before you click off of it, make sure you hit Return. This pops up the artboard options, which allows us to set the width to 750. Now 750 pixel width is actually for the iPhone 6. And then the height does not matter because we have a very long homepage design here, and we're going to be transferring a lot of this content over to our design. To find out what other file size options are out there for mobile and desktop, if you go to File and you create a new file, you can see in the settings under mobile, you have iPhone 6, the iPad, and then Android as options. And then also under web, you have all the standard options for web design as well. Okay, there's 5 things that I want you to consider when translating your desktop version to the mobile. And make sure you write these down because they're really crucial. First is how you treat an image. And I'm not talking about the graphic styling like we see here and here. What I'm talking about is simply how we crop and scale from the desktop to the mobile version. And we can see an example here that the student chose to recrop the image, and this is totally doable in the code. So again, they chose to actually scale up and recrop the image of our wonderful Catwoman here. Also, when going through the rest of the design, the images, for example, will scale up but still stay relative to the overall design that you defined in the desktop. So again, you can see that it plugs in pretty much the same way you defined in your desktop design. The second thing I want you to consider is how your type and image will wrap. So for example, with our young Catwoman here, the text in the mobile design version actually wraps underneath it, and it still keeps the same styling and spacing in place. So if we've done a really great homepage design, it simply wraps into a 1-column design, possibly 2, depending on what the content is. So if we see after the Crazy for Cats, you have recently added inventory, and that would wrap underneath, and then following would be latest articles. So the hierarchy that you defined here will simply wrap into a 1, possibly 2-column design for the phone. Again, just thinking about the order, the hierarchy that you have here, again, is important in the order that lays out in the phone. The other thing to consider too is the hamburger menu. So in our navigation on our desktop environment, we usually have some sort of icon or descriptive words of the sections that we have for our website. In the mobile version, you don't usually see a text navigation. You get a hamburger menu that you would then click, and then a menu would pop out from the side or from the top. So in your translation, what you'll want to consider is just simply adding a hamburger menu. And the last thing, and one of the most important things, is trying to keep the same spacing and margins that you've defined in your overall desktop and how it would translate to your mobile. So again, you can see in this student design they have very generous margins. Those same margins are applied to the phone. Give yourself plenty of space because you don't want your text to butt up to the edge of the phone because it's just going to create a tension and make it hard to read. So again, make sure that you're considering giving things enough space and looking at how you've identified the space in the desktop and try to translate that to your mobile design. And one last thing is just how to get started, how to copy all of this over into your mobile design. And that's pretty simple. All you do is let's start by just selecting our hero image and just do one section at a time. So if I take the hero image, select everything, I would suggest grouping it, Command G, just copy and simply paste. And then if you want to crop it, you would kind of ungroup it, pull the graphic over, kind of redesign it. Or if you like the graphic the way it is, all you simply have to do is hold Shift and scale that graphic down. So again, in summary, make sure you look at the crop or the scale of the image. Secondly, how type in your image will wrap and work together from a multi-column to a 1, possibly 2-column design. How the order that you defined in your overall homepage on the desktop translates to the similar or exactly the same order for your mobile. Making sure that you have the hamburger menu translate from the desktop to the mobile. And then lastly, trying to estimate the margins that you have here and keep them as visually consistent as possible on your design. This concludes our lesson on responsive design. We went over how to set up your file and then how to translate your homepage to a wonderful mobile design. Make sure you check the course Canvas for professional examples and also the student PDF example. Have fun, and I wish you best of luck and happy designing.